Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Contact Lost. Our preparations for the LGT are rolling into the final week before the event. And our guest today is Lachlan from Australia. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's okay. How are things with you? Excited for the
Oh, yeah,
event?
pretty hyped. Coming off about, I don't know, 3 weeks of a holiday going into the event. So, yeah, it should be good. Should be fun.
Okay. Before we carry on, I'm just gonna double check. I'm not butchering your name, am I?
It's Lachlan, but yeah, Lachlan's one of them. That's
Lachlan.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. I was close enough, I
Yeah,
guess.
you're in the right
Right.
ballpark. Yeah.
Cool. Now, before we continue, a massive thank you to our sponsors, the Weyland-Yutani and the Army Painter, as well as our community of Patreons and YouTube members. So, Lachlan, you're saying you're coming off a 3-week holiday. So, have you been doing any 40K during that time?
Not really. No, I've been taking a bit of a break. After running a tournament basically like a week before I came over here. So, yeah, I've been off the game for a bit. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, I should be a little bit fresh coming into it. But yeah, I had a few games before I left with some pretty good opponents. So
Mhm.
hopefully everything goes well.
Right. And so, have you managed to settle on a list before departing for Europe, or you've just taken a bunch of extra models and still having had a little bit of think about it before submitting?
Well, yeah, I have mostly been playing Votann for the last, I don't know, 6 or so months. So I basically took a decent chunk of my Votann collection in my luggage with me, and I've just kind of worked it out. Kind of, I don't know, just started thinking about what I like to play going into the tournament, and just threw something in. I don't know, 2 days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago. 2 days ago. Yeah.
All right. Well, I still think you might be a little bit of a mystery to our little European world slash meta, however you want to call it, as usually most people from the down under are. So, have you had any recent tournament success that you want to mention and brag about, or anything of that
No,
sort?
not really. No. Like we had some pretty decent success at a place called the Gaming Arena in a team tournament called, I think it was Battle for Terra or something. My team came second, up against some pretty stiff competition there. Um, but yeah, like I'm honestly not sure, frankly, how I snuck into this invitational. It's kind of weird. It's insane. Like, my main reaction to when I got asked to be in it was how far did they have to scrape the bottom of the barrel to find me? Um, I'm kind of just over here on a holiday with a friend of mine, and I just thought we'd play in a 40K tournament because it's kind of huge. You know, LGT is the second biggest tournament in the world. Um, So yeah, not really sure why they asked me, but here I am.
It is aiming to be the biggest event. Well, I think we're not having that many people from Australia traveling. So that's a novelty. So how come did you actually decide to attend? So did you have this holiday in the area planned like way back when, or is this like the main driver for being here?
It's actually kind of the main driver for being here. Yeah, I wanted to play in one of the big 40K tournaments, either LVO or LGT. I have some friends who've gone over to LVO, not to talk too much shade about it, but they weren't exactly huge fans. So
Hmm.
yeah, I figured, I'll give it LGT a shot, see what happens.
Okay, right. And did you do a lot of practice in the UKTC terrain layouts then? Did you get a chance to play some of the games on that?
Not, not really. No, we haven't. We don't have any of that set up in Australia. They pretty recently changed the LGT terrain setup, so I'm pretty sure before I left, I don't think that was on TTS. So I've just kind of looked at it. Really,
Hmm.
um, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I've just looked at the terrain maps. Tried to work out, game plans for a few of the missions. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of it's going to be, particularly in the Invitational, because it's before the main event, just kind of feeling it out. trying to work out how it's different because I've never played on it before.
Right. So
I have heard that it favors shooting a lot more, but the recent changes seem to have plugged that up. So yeah, not really sure. I'm just gonna have to find out.
fair enough. And you know, the whole theme around the invitational is like hopes of a nation, etc. Do you feel any sort of pressure related to that, or is just having a blast?
I'm just here to have some fun. Yeah. This is probably some of the highest competition I'm realistically ever going to be playing into. So I don't know. It'll be good to kind of test myself, see where I'm at, and yeah, just have some fun playing some games.
Okay, cool. And do you have any aspirations, any expectations of the event?
For the invitational, I just don't want to lose every single game that I play. That's where I'm at for that one. I don't know whether or not that's going to happen. But I've been talking with some of the guys about some of the lists that are in there. So I don't know. I have some plans, but we'll see what happens there. As for the main event, nah, not really. I think going into an event of this size with any real aspirations, any real expectations is kind of a bit of a fool's gambit. I just want to play some games, see how well I do, do the best I can.
All right. So you said you're taking Votann. Care to share what have you settled on then?
Yeah, I
Terms
guess
of
list sub's
lists?
already done. So yeah, I've got 3 Iron Hit champs, one with Grim Demeanor, one with Appraising Glare, all with hammers. I've got a unit of Halfkin Warriors with, Halfkin Warrior stuff. Unit of Berserks, 2 Sagittars, 3 units of Half Guard, 2 5-mans with Vulcanites and Concussion Gauntlets, 1 10-man with Plasma and Concussion Gauntlets. 2 land forts, 2 units of bikes, and a unit of Jaegers.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Why the plasmas on the 10-man? I think I've only ever seen them with Volkites. Any
I
particular reason?
just, I kind of just feel that they're good for punching up a bit more. I've, always found that I usually drop this unit in to handle like a big target or something. I'm kind of feeling that with a bunch of hordes coming into the meta, that's probably not the best choice anymore, but it's just what I have, really. It's
Okay.
been good for handling stuff in the past, and yeah, I don't know. It's probably not exactly the best choice at the moment, but it is what I have. So unfortunately, I kind of have to deal with that.
Understood. Right. And what do you think of your pairing in round 1 of the Invitational? You're up against Dino. I have to admit I have not checked what he's bringing, so maybe you can mention that. And then how are you feeling into it?
I've had a look. He's got a Chaos Marine list, Renegade Raiders with 3 ACDC bricks, and a bunch of stuff around that. Yeah, some cultists, some legionnaires. So yeah, not entirely sure. I've only played a couple of games into that matchup. I know the half guard do really well into it, so they will be kind of key in that matchup. And yeah, just kind of body blocking with the smaller vehicles. So hopefully, if I can leverage all that, the game should go all right. But I'm assuming Dino's a pretty good player, so he'll probably see a lot of what I have coming.
All right. All right. Um, so how does the Australian meta translate into what's going on in Europe? Have you gave it a bit of analysis or not necessarily so?
Well, a lot of the local games we play are on WTC terrain, which I understand you guys play a lot of games on. So I think a lot of it should theoretically translate over pretty well.
Hmm.
Because we always have, a bunch of guys running weird lists out here. Um, so hypothetically, I should have a rough idea of what most things are doing out here. But ultimately, I have no idea because I have never played in a European tournament. So I'm
Hmm.
just going to have to find out. Yeah.
All right, and how do you feel about playing 3, potentially 4 days of 40k? Have you had the chance to do that down under, or have you not had
We do have a couple of
chance?
sprinkled 3-day tournaments. I've
Mm,
never played 4 days in a row before, so if I, play the Invitational, play the 2 days, manage to go 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, and then go into the fourth day, yeah, that's going to be interesting. I've never done that before, so that is kind of part of why I've come out here, just to play in a much, much bigger tournament than I've played in before. So, yeah, we'll push myself and see how that goes.
all right, and are you coming along with some other people from Australia, or it's a more of a lone wolf kind of experience?
No, I've got a friend of mine who's come along with me, Andrew Robinson. He plays guard mostly, so he's been palling around with me on our little holiday. And yeah, I guess we're gonna just throw a bunch of toughness 12 bodies at the board and see what happens. Because I know
Toughness 12.
he's
So
been toting around 3 Rogel Dawns, so yeah, they're fun. That's a really good model.
that's a bit of a skew for sure. Might pay off.
Yeah, who knows?
Uh,
Who knows? We'll see.
yeah, definitely. And have you had a look at some of the other lists now that they've been released? Did anything pique your interest, or not really?
I've had a look at a couple of the other Votann lists that I had to, because I've already done the list check. I did that tonight in
Hmm.
a pub in Dublin, so that was good. Um, yeah, so I've done a bit of the list check. There are a few cool Votann lists floating around. One of the list checks I had to do was a guy playing 3 land forts, which is awesome. Love that for him. Kind of wish I was running that, but yep, didn't think of that one. There are a few really interesting lists in the Invitational. I saw Ines is running Black Templars Ironstorm, which, okay, all right, yep, that's going to be interesting. Um, yeah, there are a few good lists running around.
Okay, right. So do you think that you need to put or did you put any preparation outside of just playing the games themselves, having some practice games, like I don't know, figuring out how to battle jet lag or fatigue general during the event? If you got any tips on how to handle that?
My cure for battling jet lag was get here 3 weeks early, which is comes with positives and negatives. I don't really have jet lag to deal with, but also I haven't really had any practice games in the last 2-ish weeks. So, pros and cons there. As for the event itself, yeah, until I drop a game, I'm just gonna stay well hydrated, wear comfy shoes, wear comfy pants, um, sit down when I can. Yeah, just take it as easy as I can.
All right. Well, and how long have you been playing 40k in general?
I started in high school, so that's like 20-ish years ago. So I've been playing forever. Yeah.
And have you been playing
Uh,
consistently during that time, or did you take any breaks?
Started out just playing with a few of my mates. I have been playing pretty consistently though. Me and a few of my mates have been pretty regular in the Victorian, that's our state in Australia, tournament scene. Yeah, been pretty regular there for, I don't know, 10, 15 years.
Hmm. Right.
Doesn't
And
necessarily mean I'm good, but yeah, I've been at it for a while.
all right. Then how are you enjoying 10th? What do you think about the Pariah Nexus mission pack or stage of the game, however you want to
Um,
call it?
they're definitely making it a lot more even, I guess. I hesitate to use the word balance, but it's definitely a lot more even. I think a big problem with it, how do I put this? You know that roadmap they put out a couple of weeks ago, about a month
Hmm.
ago, would have been at Nova.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that kind of just says, yeah, we're going to drop a balanced data slate in Blood Angels and then nothing for 3 months. I think people are going to get a little bored unless that balanced data slate is huge, or at least it dramatically shakes stuff up a bit. But other than that,
Yeah.
for the most part, it's been ever since they got the balance issues under control. About I don't know what a month, two after launch, the edition's been fine. Yeah, it's been pretty good.
And what do you think about playing Votann in this mission pack again? Let's say as an army that probably prefers going first, whereas the missions probably give a little bit of an edge to the person going second now. How do you find yourself playing Votann in this?
Well, that's kind of why I've centered around running a pretty land fort heavy build. Something that can just kind of amble into the center of the board, take a punch or two, deal it back out, and just kind of survive for the most part. Uh, at that stage, it doesn't really, well, it does matter whether you go first or second, but it gives you options when you have both. You know, I've got a couple of little Sagittars and the scout screen with the Jaegers to be more aggressive if I do wind up going first. But the land forts really give you options going second.
Right, and the Jaegers, can you split them using Sagittars, or that works only for Harfkin warriors?
I believe that only works for Hearthkin warriors.
Right, so just one
Yeah.
squad of infiltrating dwarfs there. Okay. Right. Anything else you want to add? Maybe you got any thoughts about the LGT?
I'm definitely keen to play in something this big. I've never been to anything this big before. I think the biggest event in Australia, it tops out at like high 200s, low 300s. So this is, yeah, what, 2 to 3 times bigger than anything I've ever been to. So I'm very keen to check that out. I'm also very interested to play in this invitational. It's definitely going to be the highest standard of competition that I've ever played in. It's not that we don't have players this good in Australia. It's just that, you know, getting them into a room to beat my head in for three games is not really something that I've done. Um, so definitely keen to see how I measure up. Um, it'll be a good time.
All right, and do you see the potential of yourself coming back in a year and like following years, or is this more of something that you're looking at a one-time endeavor?
I might definitely be interested in coming back in future years. It's just kind of one of those things that is hard to plan out with travel. I do like to travel a lot. I have finally worked out how to get Warhammer into a travelable package, like something I can just throw in a backpack and take on a plane. Because I'll be damned if I'm letting a baggage handler throw my army all over the place. Don't want that to happen. Uh, so yeah, having worked that out, yeah, pretty confident that I might be able to come back in future years, especially if I enjoy myself.
All right. And has traveling been an issue for you before in Australia? I mean, the distances are also quite big over there when traveling for events, potentially,
Uh, it's
or you
actually
live
pretty
in an
good to
area that you
travel
don't need
in
to
this.
travel far. Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, it's actually pretty good to travel in Australia around for the tournaments. One thing that you'll find about Australians, especially the Victorians and the South Australians, we love a road trip for a tournament. It's great grabbing all your mates, chucking them in a car, booking some accommodation in some far off city in the middle of nowhere, and just traveling like 6, 7 hours. We love that. That is great for us.
Okay. 6, 7 hours in a car isn't that bad. I thought the distances were greater. I guess you don't
I think the
go that
furthest
far out.
one we regularly go to is 7 hours. Yeah, I think that's the longest one we usually do. Longer than that,
Okay.
I've yeah. We can probably push 8, 9.
That's not that bad then.
That's all right.
Okay. Well, Lachlan, thank you for joining this, and best of luck at the event. We'll definitely be following how you do in the invitational, and then later on in the main event. So make sure you tune in to Contactlost to find out how the heroes of the Invitational are performing during the Invitational and the main event. We'll be following them around, doing stories on Facebook, etc., etc. A massive thank you to our Patreons and YouTube members, our sponsors, Weyland-Yutani and the Army Painter. And we'll be wrapping up. Lachlan, thanks again for joining in. It's been a pleasure to chat with you.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll see you at the LGT this weekend.
Catch you there.
Yep. Thank you for today. And if you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, like, etc., etc., and consider becoming a Patreon of Contactlost. Bye for now.